What is good, YouTube? Quinway basketball analysis coming to y'all with a little bit more coverage of what happened last night. Obviously, the Utah Jazz traded Derrick Favors in a pick to the Thunder so that way they can open up more cap space to sign Mike Conley. I think they're trying to do a 3-year, $75 million deal for him. He was a first time All Star with the Utah Jazz and was basically a perfect fit. A guy that can play off the ball and hit some threes and hit some floaters if you run him off the 3 point line. Can also hit a mid range jumper. Is a solid free throw shooter and decision maker as he has grown older. And he fitted pretty well with Donovan Mitchell. They are a small backcourt, but they held their own, and obviously they did a good job because they was the number one seed in the playoffs, and they did get out of the second round. Get to the second round this time compared to last year. And Mike Conley was a big reason. He had that big three against Memphis that just sealed the deal and just broke their heart. And unfortunately, you look at what they're dealt with, and he had two hamstring injuries the last 2 years that really killed his momentum as a player because he just wasn't healthy at the right time they needed him. They're paying this man $30 million, and they traded a lot of assets for him. And he just isn't healthy in the playoffs, which is unfortunate. But he gave it a go against the Clippers, and they ended up losing that game anyway. And that was the sad part because they had a chance to really finish off the Clippers. It looked like they was a better team. It looked like they had the Clippers figured out. And once the Clippers went small, they just absolutely torched the Utah Jazz, and they could never really recover after that. So I understand that they needed a backup center. That's why they picked up Derrick Favors in free agency. But they just can't keep all these guys under contract with Gobert and Donovan Mitchell making the amount of money that they're making. Somebody's going to have to take the pay cut, and it looks like it's going to have to be Mike Conley, which isn't a bad idea because he isn't the first or second best player anyway. So it's not like Mike Conley is on the level of a Donovan Mitchell or Gobert as far as impact, as that guy is the best scorer on this team, and Gobert is the best defensive player in the league to me still. Even though he got a little exposed on the perimeter, his job is to anchor the paint, not the perimeter. That's the wing's job, not Gobert's. And Gobert got isolated a lot and got attacked a lot, and teams was happy because they was able to feast on them, and they just never really was able to recover after that. But this team should keep their head up. They play above expectations. They move the ball. They play well. They are going to have to make some adjustments to this team just because I don't know if you can run this team back again and expect a different result. Maybe they lose in the second round again. Maybe they lose in the first round because the West should be brutal this year if everybody's healthy. And with everything getting back to normal, it's going to be tougher for them to win at the highest level. I'm not saying they can't be the number one seed again, but their goal is to win the title, not just repeat as the best team in the regular season, especially when you didn't even make it to the conference finals as a number one seed, and neither did Philly. So that was unfortunate for them in the East. But it just shows you how hard it is to win in the league. It shows you how hard it is to win in the playoffs. And honestly, Mike Conley, you know, has a decision to make. Do we want to take less money to stay with the Jazz? He's still going to get paid a pretty penny at the end of the day. And the hamstring injuries really came at the wrong time the last 2 years. Plus, he didn't really fit well at all his first year with first year with Utah until the season started ending, and then he ended up hurting his hamstring. And this year he seemed like he fit in perfectly and was a guy that they thought that they needed all along. And then he ended up getting hurt again at the wrong time. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this roster as they're still chasing to bring the first championship there. And Donovan Mitchell was frustrated. Gobert was frustrated. They was able to get these deals signed and have the best season ever for them, but still ultimately fell short of their goal, and that's bringing home a Larry O'Brien. If I'm Mike Conley, I take the money now. If I get 3 years, $75 million, I'm not gonna probably be able to play on a team of this caliber. Plus, he fits in perfectly. Plus, they have a chance to be dangerous every single year that he's there. The next 2 to 3 years, that if he signs the extension, and it's really no other team that he can really go to that's going to pay him $30 million a year, as he is getting older and he hasn't played at a dominant level in a while. He played at a perfect fit level, but he didn't play at a dominant level for the Jazz. And even though he was an All Star and he deserved it because he did play that well when he was healthy, he still was not the first pick because it was Devin Booker. Then it was Mike Conley. So he should definitely take that in consideration when signing this extension if he wants to stay with the Jazz. That you're going to be starting, we're going to need you, and we're willing to pay you close to what you want. So, when you're giving 200 plus million to Gobert and almost 200 million to Donovan Mitchell, your team isn't going to get significantly better when they're making money like that. And then you got to add in Clarkson contract. You got to add in, the Ingles and the Bogdanovich contracts. Somebody's going to have to take a pay cut if this team is going to stay together, and it looks like it's going to be Mike Conley. And honestly, to tell y'all the truth, $75 million over 3 years isn't that bad for Mike Conley. That's almost market value for him. So he's not taking a huge pay cut for what he's worth on the market compared to other point guards and what he has accomplished and done in his career. Other than that, let me know, is this a smart move to keep Conley? Should they move off Conley? Should they go in a different direction? Or do you think bringing back Conley is the right idea and they should prioritize him in free agency? Or should they go in a different direction, try to see if they can get somebody else if Mike Conley don't want to stay? And who do you think they should go after if Mike Conley turns down the extension? Should he go to a different team? Should they pursue any other player, which is going to be difficult for them to do? And who do you think they should go get? Um, Time is running out as free agency is about to start, and everybody's going to have their money ready to get these free agents. And we already know it's some teams that's looking for a point guard. So Mike Conley has people that can, offer him a starting position and some good money. But will they be as good as what the Jazz have been with him this year? And we don't know how good because he got injured at the wrong time last year too. So it's going to be interesting watching this Mike Conley situation and seeing, do he really want to be loyal to a team and organization that seems like they want him there and they are willing to be loyal possibly to him like they have kept him the last 2 years, and is already offering an extension. He even gave rid of Derrick Favors so they can offer him close to what he wants. So it'll show you how much they committed and how much they feel about Mike Conley as a person and as a player. And now we just got to see if they can get something done. But I'll be back with another video about the Tristan Thompson trade, and be ready to check that out.